Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make the boutique bow in the 3-inch ribbon. I had to put my camera up a little bit higher than normal so you can actually see everything, and there's two different ways to do it, a slightly different twist technique, and you get a 6-inch wide version or a 5-inch wide version, but it's still 42 inches of ribbon. So 3-inch ribbon, 42 inches. Pop those out of the way. The measurements will all be in the description box below. And I wanted to show off this ribbon as well. I did a unboxing haul for Princess Bow Supplies. The link will be in the description below as well. But this is one of the amazing ribbons, and as you can see, it's double-sided. How pretty is that for like a summer tropical bow? So I've taken my lighter, and what I've done is heat sealed both my ends. Well, I will. There we go. That's better. In the blue Claire bit of the flame. And I'm just going to fold this in the centre, this side, and I just want a pinch there. It just works as a guide. And on this side, what we're going to do, take my ruler, we want to do this 6 inches in. So fold it over and then fold it in half, because we only want a little pinch. We don't want a full crease, because if we do a full crease, you'll be able to see a line in your make, and you don't want that. So again, just in that blue Claire bit, you just want a pinch, and this will work as a guide when we're making our bow and putting everything together. The other thing is, with your ribbon, when you're working so that the pelicans are the right way up, you need to work in so the pelicans are facing towards you. Okay, so we've got this end sorted, and we've got a tiny little pinch here. And bring that so it's in half. And you take this, we want to heat crease right in the centre, so we've got a nice clear guide. There we go, so we've got that. We've got our little mark here. What I am going to do, so you guys can see it, because obviously I can see it on camera, it's a little bit more tricky for you guys, because obviously it's quite a dark ribbon. So I'm just going to put that pin in so you can actually see where I'm going with it. So here is our centre, and what we want to do, take this underneath, and where the centre is, so you see this crease in the middle, we want to line that dead up with the tail. So you want it on the edge of that tail, you don't want it in the middle or anything like that, you want it dead centred on there. And what I do is I take 2 of these clips and catch it both sides like this, and this is side 1. And as you can see, you've got that curve. Okay, and then on this side you bring this one round, line up your square so it matches exactly the corners on each of these, and again capture all of that. Make sure all of this, so you see where all of these are lined up, you want them all together, so that like this loop here is directly on top of this one, and this is a figure 8. Now at the moment we are looking at the back of the bow. This cross shape is the front of the bow. Okay, so when we're working from the back, and that is the 2 lines. So what I do from here is fold this in half, and you want it, so this is a trick to make sure you've got your loops even as well, is if you fold it in half like this, and this is your centre point. Okay, so where that is, that is just over, well, 8 inches. And again, if you go that point to the end there, that is also 8 inches. So that is a good guide. If you measure and this one's 8.5 and this one's 8 or anything like that, you know you've sort of made a slight, you need to make a slight adjustment and re-put everything back together. But like I said, that is a good way of checking that you've got it. Once you're sure, you can heat crease these. In the blue clear bit of the flame again. You want a nice strong crease so you can see it when you're pinning everything together. And again, exactly the same thing on this side. There we go. And I'm also going to crease this centre. Again, it works as a guide when we're putting everything together. So there we go. So crease this side, and then we can reopen everything back up and here. Now if you want the more together 5-inch version, then what you do is you bring your edges, so you bring this centered across, and where that crease is, you want it right where that line was. So right as that triangle is here, you want it right against that one, and the same this side. Line it up with where that triangle is going in. Make sure your creases are directly on top of each other, and if you want to hold them in place, you can take a pin before you do your stitches, so when you turn over, and again, cross shape front, lines are the back, and you start your stitching from this corner and you come out here, and you can do either 6 stitches or 8 stitches, and 6 stitches will get you 3 creases, 8 stitches will get you 4 creases, and both will work to balance the bow, but you need to keep your stitches as even as possible. Now if you want the slightly longer version that gives you this look, which is the 6-inch version, then we can take the clips off and our pin. Okay, and it's exactly the same principle. The only difference is I take my loops, and where we've done the folds, so directly here, fold them on top of each other and pin through, and then where your centre is, so where our creases are here, it's right in the middle, and then a pin on this side, and one this side. So on this one, your back looks like this, and your front looks like this, so you get like a more squared look when you do the lines directly on top of each other. And this is a look you will get, and if you measure each triangle, each side is about 1/2 inch. See, triangle, a little bit over 1/2 inch, about 2/3 of an inch, or 7/8. So there you go. So that's 1/2 inch, and there's the quarter, so 3/4 of an inch basically on each side to make it even. And like I said, that is nicely centered from when you stitch through. And like I said, the other thing before you stitch, because this is very, very important, if you've got a print, make sure it's the right way round, so you can see my pelicans are all flowing in this direction like this. Okay, so let me just grab a needle and thread, and I have extra strength Gutermann thread doubled, and I can take these clips out of the way now as well. And from above, where your triangle is coming in, so you want to do one through there, your second wants to be going over and through that line that we've just gone up there, so 1, 2, 3, and at this point you can take out your pin on your tail, and you can take your pins that we just used to hold that in place while we're putting the stitches in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and your 7 one will be coming up through the edge of that triangle there. So the line as they're joining together there. And your 8th one will be coming back up through the triangle point on this side. Okay, and like I said, try and keep your stitches as even as possible, because the more even the depth of your creases are, the more structure and the less like primping you'll have to do, because you'll notice in a lot of tutorials, a lot of the time you have to sit there and sort of faff and like adjust your loops for ages. I find if I do it this way and get the creases nice and even from the beginning and stitch from this side, so from the cross side, then it works nicely and you like don't have to primp as much. So from there, cinch that together, and as you can see you've got 4 even creases all of the same depth, and that's the front, and as you can see they're all roughly the same depth on the back, and like I said, that's what you want. So once you're sure that they're, like I said, all wrapped and all centered, you can wrap round a couple of times, do it nice and tight. There we go. If you want to, you can use this exact same method and hand crease, but I find it harder to get my loops even, the creases even, if I hand crease. So like that's why I like to stitch, because I'm better at getting my stitches even. But you can do it either method. So stitch that off in the back, cut that extra off, and then what you do is get my finger in each set of loops and you give it a little twist like this and adjust your sides up. Don't want any creasing. And I'm going to cut this, but I want to make sure I can still see that pelican there. So I'm going to do a nice little curve up, because like I said, the pelicans or toucans, depending on what you call them. It's probably toucans. So heat seal that edge there. And there you go. That is the front of your bow, and this is what the back looks like. As you can see, they're a little bit twisted, so I'm just going to pull them up a little bit like that. And when you're happy with everything and you're 100% certain everything is in place, what you do is, I've got Max Hold quick drying hairspray. This is 24-hour humidity resistant. It's not the most expensive brand. It is about £1 from Tesco's in the UK. So any sort of decent strength like brand, anything like that. And what you do is you completely spray it until it's slightly damp on one side, and then you turn it over and you do exactly the same thing this side. If you haven't got hairspray or you prefer starch, you can also use this, which is starch spray, and it does exactly the same thing, only it takes a little bit longer to dry, but like I said, has exactly the same effect. And you can normally pick these up in the laundry department or like laundry section, in with like the washing powder and comfort conditioner. So like I said, you can find that in that section there. And then with this one, I've got a 60mm clip. We're just going to turn this over. We're going to add the clip, and I think I'm going to do a knotted centre to show you. A nice big chunky one. So, place that on your creases in the centre. There we go. And then I've got some 9mm, and this is just to wrap the centre before I put the knot on, just so it's nice and secure. Touch of glue there. And then we're going to wrap this round twice as we do all other bows. So once, nice and tight, open, round. Now when you get to this point, just give these a little tug and make sure they're sitting where you want them as well, because again, before you put your hairspray on, this is a good place to sort of get those loops adjusted where you want them. And round again. There we go, cut that a little bit extra off. And heat seal. And there we go, so that's that one. And then if you wanted to do a nice knotted middle, like this one, I actually did this with 3-inch ribbon, and you want about 7 or 8 inches, just so you've got enough to put your knot in nicely and still be able to wrap it around the bow. So this is 7 inches of 1.5-inch ribbon. Because like I said, you can play with all the different widths and see which, like, how chunky you want your knot to be. So like I said, play around with some of your scraps and see what sort of size you like best. So 7 inches, 1.5-inch ribbon. And you loop up like this and then bring that through your loop and you'll get this. And then what you do is you twist both those sides until you get a nice peak knot like this. Okay, and then there you go. That's what a 1.5-inch ribbon knot is, and obviously you just cut the excess off and heat seal these together. So I'll just show you. Don't cut your bow when you're doing this. Just take those 2 bits off, and then in the blue clear bit, the flame as normal. Okay, let's just do that on both sides until they're all nicely pinched together. Careful not to set fire to your ribbon like I just did. There we go. So when they're together like that, you can glue side 1, open your clip, pop that round, side 2, bit of glue, clip that in. Make sure you don't knock your glue gun over as you're doing everything. Told you, I'm a klutz. And there you go. A super cute double-sided ribbon boutique bow. It looks so pretty. I love the fact that it's got the print with the pineapple and the lines on the inside as well, so you could do this either direction. So like I said, depending on which side you prefer the print on, it's really, really pretty. And it's the same with this one. You've got the floral on this side, and you've got the really pretty, like, ombre, pinky purpley colours on this side, and you can do it in your solid ribbon as well and just play around and have lots of fun. And like I said, this version gives you the longer 6-inch. If you do it where the corners are at the edges rather than overlapping, you get the more structured 5-inch version. So like I said, play around, and like I said, I look forward to seeing all your work soon. Bye!